So yesterday, me and 3 other friends decided to go drive 30 minutes out of town to a nearby city to go see Escape Room in theaters. And it was quite the letdown, in my opinion. The best way to describe the movie would be to say that it was something I feel like I've seen before. That being Saw 5. Because me and my friends have somewhat similar tastes in movies, we all came to a general consensus that this movie was fucking retarded and a giant waste of time. Me being the only one out of my group of friends to have seen Saw, I couldn't help but express how similar the movies were to each other. As you read earlier at the beginning of this movie, or this video, the review is going to contain some spoilers, so you've been warned in advance. According to IMDb, the storyline is as follows. 6 strangers are given mysterious black boxes with tickets to an immersive escape room for a chance to win tons of money. Being locked in several rooms with extreme conditions, they discover the secrets behind the escape room and they must fight to survive and find a way out. Those 6 strangers being Zoe, who is some quirky, shy college student and also the poster girl for this movie. Ben, who's a grocery store employee and also plays a very important role in this movie, you soon figure out. Jason, who's a rich office worker, who's also a fucking dickhead, and harasses our next contestant, Danny, who is an escape room fanatic and a giant video game nerd. Mike, who's a retired miner and a dad of the group, he cracks a couple jokes that did get some laughs from the audience when I was there, so that was pretty good, I guess. And last, Amanda, who is a retired soldier and served in Iraq, who, mind you, easily had the most interesting backstory, and actor being Deborah Ann Wool or Karen Page from Daredevil. So you later learn that the characters are brought together under one common theme, that they're all sole survivors of different accidents that have happened in their lives. Once they get into the escape room, I couldn't help but feel as though that every character, with exception to Danny, was an angry, huge fucking dickhead for absolutely no reason at all. As soon as everyone stepped in the room, you could just feel that everyone was pissed off, with no reason. Like at one point at the beginning of the movie, all 6 of them are entering the room, and Danny says something like, "Can you play video games?" referring to Jason's scar across his hand from his accident. And Jason retorts with some dumb shit like, "No, I can't, so I pass my time by fucking adult women instead." Like, seriously? Come on, guy. You've known this kid for about 5 minutes, not even, and you're roasting him for absolutely no reason at all. So then, anyway, they escaped like this starting oven room barely by like crawling through a vent, and they have to put cups on a table, and then once they escape that room they have to crawl through this vent, and Amanda has like a Vietnam flashback from her time at fucking war because she's in a crap space, and then Zoe helps her, and then when they escape they enter this like Christmas cabin, and then the room behind them explodes just in the nick of time type thing. And then in this cabin you figure out Ben's backstory and how he was driving drunk with 3 of his buddies around Christmas time, listening to Rudolph the Red-Nosed Reindeer, and he crashed, killing all of them. And they unlock the door, which is, the code is Rudolph, and then they leave the cabin to this Arctic forested area, which by the way was actually pretty good set design. I was in awe by how that scene looked in particular. I give them credit where credit's due. That was pretty nice to me. I didn't think it was overly bad. So in this area you figure out how Jason's story comes around and how he got hypothermia when he was on a boat, and then you begin to see a pattern about how every room is designed for one of them, and you begin to figure out that the games master is preying into their past experiences and trying to fuck with their heads. And then in this scene, this is when Danny falls through some ice and then fucking dies, so then everyone's like, holy shit, this is actually real and we're gonna fucking die. So they kind of stop being as much of dickheads because Danny's not there to bully anymore. So they escape, and then they enter this like upside down room, which is designed after a pub, which to me is also pretty good set design, I would say. That's pretty cool. And it's like a game of musical chairs where every time the song ends, the floor drops, and this is where Amanda dies, which pissed me off, to be honest, because Amanda was the most interesting character, well, at least in my opinion. And then she had the coolest backstory, so it was only like 50 minutes into the movie and they killed her, so I was pretty pissed off about that. But moving on to the next room, they enter this hospital where they all figure out that they're connected under the same reason, how they're all sole survivors of their accidents, and that's what they're preying on. That's what the game master's preying on. So then in this scene, Jason just fucking murders Danny for about no specified reason. Or not Danny, Mike, sorry. Jason murders Mike, and then Zoe has a meltdown because she realizes that if she breaks the cameras, they won't be able to see if they escape or not. So then she stays back and breaks the cameras while Mike's dead, and Jason does some ninja way Goku shit where he lowers his heart rate and then opens up a door, and then him and Ben leave, and then they enter this room where they get drugged, and then they fight to the death, and then Ben wins, and then he gets the antidote, and then he enters the end of the room, and then he's greeted by the games master where he congratulates Ben on surviving the maze, and then tries to choke him out with wire. But then all of a sudden Zoe comes out of nowhere with a gun that she pulled from a cleaner in the room that she was staying behind in, and then fucking shoots the game master, and they 2v1 him, and then they escape. But that wasn't the ending. The actual clear-cut ending of this movie was physically fucking painful, and it just hurt to watch, because I'm just not gonna spoil it because it's just too hard to explain and it's fucking confusing. But man, was it ever dumb. I'd say overall the film had some good design and was just good plot. It just wasn't executed well, and the ending was horrible, so I'm gonna give it a 3 or a 4. Yeah, I'm gonna give it a 3 out of 10. Thanks for watching this Saw 5 review. Escape room review, wink wink. Have a good one.